On the very first day of setting up my studio at home, this was Monday, March 30th, what I wrote on the first day was, living in the moment, breathe deeply, open my soul. And that kind of became a mantra for the time I was creating during the pandemic. Hi there, my name is Melanie Morstad. I'm an artist at the Burns Visual Arts Society. I'm also the president of our cooperative. I am a painter and I focus mostly on landscape. I paint really bold, colorful, expressive, landscape-oriented paintings. When I'm not painting, I love to downhill ski, and the steeper, the deeper, the more black diamonds, the better. I think I did one of those Myers-Briggs tests, and one of the questions was, if you could be anything without any barriers in your life or in the world, what would you be? And after many years in the high-tech industry, I had said, I want to be an artist. At the end of March, when things were starting to close up, I was in my studio happily painting, thinking, oh, I can do this. I'm isolated, I'm in my own space, and I can create. Well, things changed because we're an artist cooperative of 20, and the other artists getting a little uncomfortable about should we come in and share public spaces. We ended up closing March 26th. I grabbed all of my supplies as best I could, moved them to my dining room. It actually was a fairly smooth transition. What did change was maybe some of the things I planned on painting, because all of my shows had been canceled, exhibitions, different events were over, so I was free to paint what I wanted. Every day I would sketch in my sketchbook or just write a few little notes. I started creating work that was more about trips and holidays, vacations, places that I could go in my mind but couldn't physically go to. That became very cathartic, to be able to paint something that was imagining where I could be instead of enduring the pandemic. I painted some paintings of Paris. We spent about a month there last year, and there was a little flower shop across the street from our flat, and every day they would change out the flowers. And I'd never really painted the ocean before, so I thought this was my opportunity to play around with colors. So what I would do is sketch briefly, just a quick little watercolor sketch, and I would turn them into paintings as well, into larger paintings. I had an Art in the Garden show in my home, and put a lot of the work that I created during the pandemic in that show in my garden. These two behind me are Giverny. I was there last year around that time of year, probably more like May. And the colors were absolutely beautiful, green, lush. This is how the paintings start, with lots of fun stuff. This has got some glitter on it, some just kind of some expressive little gestural marks. So that's kind of the first step. That's the next step. I don't have a completed one, but if we move over here, it's started in the same way with lots of movement, lots of mark making underneath, and of course my signature, which is lots of color. This is a very messy, dirty viewfinder. It takes the color out of my painting and shows me the values. It'll help me establish where the focal point is. These, they're made by a company called Catalyst. They are tools that I can carve into the paint. I use predominantly golden acrylic paints. They have a really diverse product line. Colors are wonderful, highly saturated for textures and so on. These glass bead gel, graphite paste, which creates that effect. Hoping for better times mustn't be a feeling, but a doing something in the present. And that was Vincent van Gogh, July 22nd, 1883. Art saving the world. It could save the world by giving people a better view. Maybe even for everyone in the world to be able to grab a paintbrush or a hunk of clay and create themselves and find that they can get lost in the moment of creating.